From the Vox Populi studios in Miami Lakes, we bring you the Miami Lakes Business Podcast, brought to you by the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce. And today we have with us a special guest that actually have a business that we have never interviewed before. And that have never been here in the podcast, so we're very glad that you are in. And I'm talking about the Leal family. We're talking about Carmen Leal, Rigoberto Leal, and Nicolas Leal. And they are actually the owners of Kids Choice Learning Center, or centers, I should say, because there's more than one. So welcome to our program.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. How many years has Kids Learning Center has been in operation?
Well, Kids Choice Learning Center has been in operation now for a little bit over 23 years. It was started in 2001 by Placido and Carla. They later sold it, and we are now the proud owners of Kids Choice Learning Center. We purchased it just recently, about 6 weeks ago. So we're excited, extremely happy. We have been Miami Lakes residents now for a good over 21, 22 years.
Good.
So it's even better. It's a gift from God, honestly, to be able to have a business where we live.
And the location, exactly where in the Miami Lakes area is the
We
school?
are on 6150 Northwest 153rd Street. It is, I think, the best way to, everybody knows the Publix in Miami Lakes.
Right.
Kind of like behind the Publix in Miami Lakes. It's a
Wonderful.
standalone building in the corner.
So it's very, very centrally located,
Yes.
in the town. So that is good. What made you choose that kind of path? Were you a teacher at some point in time? Did you teach in school? Tell me a little bit about that.
No, we're not teachers. We both, actually, Bert and I both graduated in business administration and business management. And it's actually a very interesting story, to say the least, for us at least. We'll share with you. When I became pregnant with Nicholas, our firstborn, my parents, being the Cuban background, started saying, well, what are you going to do? Who's going to take care of the baby? Because I had to go to work. Bert was working. I mean, we had no means we couldn't afford to stay home. And my father said, well, why don't we start looking into being the entrepreneur that he was, why don't we start looking somewhere, a business that you can work with the baby. And my mother had a cousin in West Palm Beach that had several centers like the ones that we own now. And we started going back and forth with him, and long story short, that's how we started in the business.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Child care has always been a very important issue in our country. With people that need to work, and the how much it costs to send your kids to a place like yours. How do you work with the families that come to you and say, I'm looking to do this? What can you do for me? How do you work with them? How do you help them?
Well, the first thing is that it's a service that we provide. It's changed through the years. Back in the times, it was more like a babysitting type of situation. Now, the way at least we run our centers is not babysitting. It is a learning center, just as like the word says it. Not only the one here that we own in Miami Lakes, but the other two that we own as well in Hialeah. And we work with them in the sense that we show them what we offer. We show them around the campus, the curriculum. We give them information about the nutrition, what we do for the child, the routine, the daily activities. We go in extensive explanation of how the day for the child will be. Taking into consideration that it is an educational center, that there is going to be learning involved. It doesn't matter if they're 1 year old or 3 or 4. there's still learning involved.
So the ages that we're talking about of the kids that attend your learning center.
Right now, we are serving from 1 year infants to 4 years old, which is the VPK program that the state of Florida offers.
Okay, and when they leave there, they're ready to go to kindergarten,
Yes.
pre-K. What is it, 3 or 2, and then pre-K 1, and then first grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is wonderful. What is the difference between your learning center and some of the other daycares that that I see around? Because there's a lot. I mean, there are plenty of them. But so, what sets you apart from the others?
Well, backtrack a little bit, Fred, to how long we've been in the business. This is our 26th year in the business. We own 2 other centers, like Carmen, my wife, said. One being Our Lady of Lourdes Preschool in Hialeah, and the other one being Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They call me Grumpy. And they call me Grumpy for a reason. I usually get very upset when things are not to quality. And that's what we base our difference between the other schools. We were one of the first Gold Seal centers in South Florida. After that, when we went to Snow White, which was our second center, we immediately, within a year, also became a Gold Seal center. That also kind of takes us away from the norm. Of course, whenever you're successful, other schools tend to copy. But it's hard to copy our passion and what it is that we do, because we love the children. And it's all about the children. I've always told my staff, our priorities are 1 through 10, children being those priorities. Things have changed nowadays. There is a lot of kids that we've noticed out there that have special needs. So we try to cater to them until we get to the point where they need to go to a school that will cater better for them. But we're here for all families until we see that we can no longer be of help to them. Mm-hmm. There is where I would say we kind of stem ourselves apart. We're not for everyone. We're for the ones that really want a quality education to get these children ready. Believe it or not, a child could learn as little as 3 months old. And by the time they're 4 years old, ready to go to kindergarten, we're getting them ready. Mm-hmm. So that would be one of many different things that will, I guess, make us a little different than the rest.
Let's talk about loyalty a little bit, because I think it is important in every business to have some degree of loyalty. Mm-hmm. Do you consider, because of your track record and the history of the schools that you have created since the beginning, that you do have a good loyalty level from the people? Do you have people that come back to you all the time, that recommend people to you all the time, based on whatever you do that is different from some of the other learning, or let's not say learning centers, but daycare centers, that you are set apart from them? How do you see that? Do you see the high degree of loyalty?
Let me.
I think that's important to talk about that, because of the horror stories that you hear.
Yes.
In many cases.
Yes.
So.
The loyalty, not only with our parents but with our staff, goes a long way. So I would say the median age that has been with us in our schools is between 16 to 18 years. So that is the average tenure of our teachers. Now, as far as loyalty from the parents go, we've had a great deal of success with parents having other parents come to our schools. But in the recent years, with rising rents, with the way society is, the way COVID just kind of shuffled everything around, there's been a lot of transient. So in Hialeah, there's been a lot of new people come in, a lot of new demographics come in. We don't know yet how Miami Lakes is because we're newbies here, right? So we've only been here for 6 weeks. So for the 26 years, we've never done one bit of marketing. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be meeting with a company called AC Graphics and Digital by a great friend of mine called Tico Casamayor, which I think you might know him.
I think I do. And Matthew Casamayor.
Yes. And Matthew, of course, is the heart behind it, right? But no, so we are going to meet with them because we're going to start a marketing plan. We've never had to because we've had returning families and we have returning grandparents bringing now grandchildren that had their children there. So it's amazing how, and we also have had alumni come back almost on a monthly basis.
That's what I was going to ask you next. You know, that is the biggest reward that any learning center can have is to see people coming back.
Yes, it's very special to see them come visit, and they stand in front of you and they ask you, "Do you remember me?" And you have this tall young man, maybe in his late 20s. I'm like, the face looks familiar, but and all of a sudden, or a young woman, and they're police officers, they're nurses, it's incredible. They're teachers, and they come back to visit. It's special.
It is so important to make sure, you know, I mean, the kids nowadays, they need all the help they can get.
True.
One's because not all the parents are fit to be parents, and then you see all the bombardment of negative material coming to them, and them having access to all the time. That sometimes they learn the wrong things instead of the right things. So it is important to have people like you. With the passion that you have to help forming them for their world,
Sure.
which is going to be different than ours, so it is very important, and so how many employees do you have?
Between the 3 schools, I would say we'd be in excess of 70 employees right now.
70.
70.
Wow,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a big company.
Yeah. It's a lot of responsibility. Yes, it is.
It's hard to manage that many people. And then as far as students, student body,
The enrollment,
the enrollment.
within the 3 centers, I would say pretty much off the top, right around 480 to 500
Wow,
families currently enrolled in our 3 schools.
that is amazing. That is that's the size of any elementary school, pretty much.
It is.
So, Nicholas, what can you? I'm going to direct this to you. You have your mom, your dad.
Great.
That,
Put them on the spot.
your mom and your dad that have been, doing most of the talking. But, what made you decide that you wanted to do this, that you wanted to work along your parents?
Well, first and foremost, I gotta give them thank you for allowing me to, get into the business. I was thinking of going into real estate prior, but then opportunity came up with the new school we purchased. They said, "Do you want to be the head, run this one?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I've been working for 4 years for them prior, so I know some of the ins and outs of the business. I do the payroll, the accounting, order the food, I do the day-to-day in the school. So I'm just very thankful, very grateful for what they've done for me so far, and growing up as well. So
Is it difficult to work with your parents?
sometimes it does, but I think
He's honest.
yeah, I think it's better than working with someone you don't know or you don't trust completely. So working with family, I think, is the best that you can do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. The reason why I asked you that question is because when I started working with my dad, and I was not. Of course, I was in school, in high school, and my position was in the warehouse, where the heat was, and he made me work pretty hard, but I did learn the business, and and that was so it's a beautiful thing. That,
Of course, yeah.
do you have family of your own or not yet?
Not yet. I'm 24,
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't have any family. I still live with my parents at home, So,
All right. Yeah,
but no, I mean,
you'll
my
prob-
mother. You
You'll
can see my
probably be there
mother.
for a few more years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready.
Knowing
to,
the average of today's society.
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
So you'll have him for a few more years for
it's
sure.
fine. It's fine.
It's all good. It really is.
Well, it's been good having you guys here, giving us all the information about your learning centers, which is great to have. And I'd like to invite the people to visit and visit the Leal family, and they're a fine family, residents of our beautiful town and lovely town, and members of the Chamber of Commerce as well. So I invite you to pay him a visit and see if you can help, and along the way by bringing more kids in and doing whatever. So it's been a pleasure having you three of you here. Before I close it, is there anything that you would like to add? I know that you will be leaving your son a tremendous legacy of of being in the business, and then eventually running all three or more in the future. Anything that you would like to add, Rigoberto?
Absolutely. It's God sent, like I said earlier, that we work with family. We work hand in hand every day. We come home. I cook dinner every night. And we talk about business at home. And when we travel, we talk about business when we travel. And when we go out, we talk about, but it's what family business is about. I invite anyone, please, to come by and take a look at it. We've made some amazing renovations, not just on the outside and not just on the inside, but on the passion that our teachers are going to be portraying in the future in Kids Choice. Kids Choice had a great name for many years, and we're going to bring that back, probably even better. So not only if they have children, but if maybe even they're looking for an opportunity in employment. We're always looking for excellent people. We'll train you. We'll teach you the ways of it. All we need are just good-hearted people that love children and have the passion that
That's
we do.
wonderful.
And thank you for having us.
That is wonderful. Yeah. The address of the one here.
Absolutely.
In,
It's
Miami Lakes?
6152 Northwest 153rd Street.
That's Miami Lakes Drive.
That's Miami Lakes. There's a little place called NQC, No Quiero Cocinar.
No Quiero Cocinar.
That's
A
right
good
down the
friend-
street
good
from
friend
there.
of ours, Milo.
Milo,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have lunch there a couple times a week, right by the police station, right in that area. It's a beautiful white and blue building with some really pretty letterings outside of it. So
Wonderful,
please,
wonderful.
we invite you to come by and
Wonderful.
say hello.
Well, thank you very much to the three of you for being here with us today and saying yes to come into our podcast. So we thank you so much. Till next time.